Are you ready to deep dive into the magic system of this world, Legendborn by Tracy Dion? I hope you are, because that is what this video is. There will be spoilers regarding everything we know about this world. If you're watching this video, that means you should have read this book. You kind of need a refresher on the magic system and how that works before you go into the next book, or even the third book in the series, Oathbound. If you need other refreshers, such as what exactly happens in this book, because you don't have time to reread it before the next one comes out, I do have a spoiler-filled reading recap on my page. It is the first video I have posted, but I also have a Legendborn cycle playlist that you can check out. Need a deeper dive into the characters? I also have a video for that in which I go over kind of character descriptions, what we know about each one, what we know about each line, and things of that nature that is also spoiler filled. Check that out. The same types of videos will be up for the following book in the series, Bloodmarked, as well as for Oathbound when I get my grubby little hands on that one. Without further ado, let's get into the magic system of Legendborn. Once again, spoilers, okay? Some of this information I feel like might be conflicting with what we know versus what we're told about other parts, but this is as it's written in the book. I feel like Bloodmarked gives a lot clearer description of the magic system, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do this series, to kind of see how the magic system like evolves throughout, what more we learn, but what more is clarified throughout it. So I beg you to sit tight with me, okay? Let's start off with how they're introduced in the book to us, which is the order side first. So we know that the Order of the Round Table is paternal based. The Order of the Round Table, it has a strict hierarchy. The mission is fighting Shadowborn and protecting humans. They take outsiders away who use power and lock them up, or worse. They lock up Merlins who succumb to their blood. They put Merlins in warded prison under guard the second they begin to turn, and they used to be 150 knights. Then we have King Arthur. So this is the Order's head and crown when he is awakened. His birthplace is 16th century Wales. He is left-handed. If fully awakened Arthur is struck down by Shadowborn blood, the Legendborn lines will be broken forever. Legendborn Scion, so they are born with their title. They are the Order's heart. The holy text of their lines has fueled our mission from the beginning. It's essentially an heir. The Knight's inheritance, which is their enhanced abilities and affinity for ether, lives in one person at a time. The inheritance is transmitted by awakened Scion, and they have to be about 16 to 22 years old. Low-ranked Scions are awakened frequently, and as we know, 6th to 12th ranked are almost awakened constantly. Esquire is also the Order's heart, and the same thing applies. The holy text of their lines has fueled our mission from the beginning. So they take the color and the sigil of their Scion, and they serve this line by choice. They are the battle partner to join their Scion in a warrior's oath, and they share that bloodline's power at that point. The High Council of Regents. I hate them. They assign Merlins to their missions. If Legendborn makes a command, they are oath-bound to comply. They are the Order's spine, and they have directing eyes and energy to urgent matters at hand. We have Merlins, who are the Order's sorcerers. They have a strong affinity for ether. The powerful ones can make ether constructs as hard as diamonds. They are trained from birth. Merlins, the existence of Merlins and what they can do, that is the first revelation that is only privy to oathed members. They are the Order's right hand, the sword and fists of the Order. Guardians of weapons against darkness. Merlin's mother had sex with a very powerful demon mimic called a Gor-Ickle. Incubus, and produce a Cambion. So all descendants are Cambions as well. Part incubus, like I said, which means they have a natural beauty, distinctive voice, etc. They have long distance runner hearts, core temps at 110 degrees Fahrenheit, so they burn away any human bugs or viruses. They have enhanced metabolism, speed, strength, vision, and hearing. They are children at birth, but age 7 is when the changes begin, and they gain power and ether connection, but lose more of their humanity, which when they fully lose their humanity, that's when they succumb to the blood. The oaths keep Merlins from losing their humanity, and you never look a master Merlin directly in the eye. Of the pages, so they compete against other pages to become Legendborn. This is a voluntary service, it's honorable, it's mutually beneficial. So like you get called like mine, which you've been tapped. That means you've been tapped by someone, so their family can vouch for you and you have their protection and blessing. New pages come from vassal families who pledged themselves to the order decades or even generations ago. And the year of study doesn't affect when a student can be tapped. They are the order's left hand, and they hold the shield while Legendborn fight in the shadows. Vassals are once-born outsiders who are sworn to the code and the order, but pledge service to one of the original 13 Legendborn bloodlines that founded the order in the medieval ages. So they know about Aether and Shadowborn, but they don't fight in the war. Their network shores up any gaps in their assigned family's needs and resources. They get favors in exchange, so they worked on misinformation campaigns to keep once-borns away from the truth, and they are the Order's lowest limbs. King's Mage is the most powerful Merlin child in a generation selected, a child taken from their family and bound in a formal ceremony to a child scion of Arthur, and they are the scion's sworn protector until death. Aether. This is a type of physics. It is the invisible energy of the earth. Its medieval alchemists would call it quintessence. It cannot be destroyed or created, can only be infused into a body or manipulated into temporary mass, and silver conducts it best. Wall of Ages, so this is in the basement of the lodge. It outlines the 13 bloodlines and their scions. It's enchanted to hide names from outsiders who may stumble upon it. It has the last 60 generation of scion names recorded, as well as King's Mages. It's the doorway to the network of tunnels that leads to Excalibur. It takes the blood of 3 scion lines to open. Now let's get into some concepts of the order. So to be awakened, that is when the knights call the scions when there is need. It occurs in command order from 13th, the lowest, to 1st, the highest rank. So they are called to power violently by their knight spirits, and 16 is the first year knights can call upon you. Then we have Mesmers. So this is the Code of Secrecy's greatest weapon. It alters memories and makes people forget. Oathed / the Oath of Fealty. So these oaths grant you sight if found worthy. They are living bonds sealed by speech. They pull ether from the air so the commitment becomes a part of you. It will know if you intend to break it, and it works like a mesmer. Oathbound, I believe it just means you've taken the oath. The King's Mage Oath, this is so the King's Mage can feel when the king is in mortal danger. The king can feel his King's Mage's murderous intent. The Merlin can never hurt his king, but the king can hurt his King's Mage. And this is the primary oath that Merlins take to that a King's Mage takes to their king. The Oath of Service is the secondary oath that the King's Mage will then take to the Legendborn. The line is law. This is just like a phrase that they say, kind of like their mantra, just signifying that you have to follow the line of succession, the bloodline for each of the 13 scions. The Spell of Eternity. This is a powerful casting to magnify the remaining knights' abilities and bind their spirits to their bloodline, so the table can live on immortal. The heirs can stand forever against darkness. This is the spell that Merlin placed, and this is also the spell where he included that special clause in for his descendants forever, in which they have to stay oathed, they have to comply with their oaths, otherwise they will succumb to the blood, which means that they lose their human side and they become more demon. Code of Secrecy, I mean, it just means that you can't tell anyone anything. That's not a vassal, that's outside of any of the order. A once-born, so this is an Unanadig in Welsh, and it's just regular people who don't know what's going on. They have no sight, they can't see ether, they can't acknowledge anything. It's just regular people. Shadowborn, Sisgodanedig. Yes, that is the Welsh word for it, but it basically means demon kind. They make no sound when they walk. Sponsor is, so this is a person who tapped their page. An acolyte, they are fundamentalist line worshippers. Legendborn, Schwedlanedig is the Welsh word, and they're the only ones who can recruit new members. Lieges are retired scions and squires. Camlan is the war. 13 scions have awakened and claimed squires. The scion of Arthur will lead the round table against the demon plague in deadly battle. Camlan is where the original knights fell, Arthur died, and the round table was broken forever. The abatement. So when scions are awakened, they get all of their knights' power, but the longer they are awakened, the more it drains them. So most scions don't make it past 35, and it's the same for squires. Order of the Rose. So this is the women's auxiliary founded centuries ago when they couldn't partake in the order. Mothers and former pages to support chapter events. Sight. This is the ability to see ether and shadowborn. Excalibur. This is the oldest ether weapon in the world. Merlin forged himself. Contains so much power it doesn't dissipate, and it's located at Ogath y Thraig, which is Welsh for Cave of the Dragon, which is under the bell tower on Carolina's campus. Ogav Thraig is how you pronounce it, because I put the pronunciation at the bottom. Now into like some Shadowborn words. We have the Line of Morgaine. It's the Order's #1 enemy besides Shadowborn. So it's a certain sect of Merlins that didn't like the way the regions were doing things. They splintered off. They're essentially Merlins gone rogue, but you can't tell the difference between an Oathed Merlin and Morgaine. Cambion, this means part human, part demon. So we know that ether affinity in demon blood is dominant. An Ickle, short I at the beginning, 30 CH from Loch, like Loch Ness Monster. That is a greater demon. The Gore Ickle, which is the most powerful Ickle. It can pass for human and it doesn't make sound when they walk. We have an Isel, which is a lesser demon. Hellhounds, they have green ether. Hellfox is Sudney Ufern. A Hell Serpent is Sarf Ufern. And we have imps. They are flying demon, the size of swans. They have leathery wings, bulbous bodies, long red scaly limbs. Hind feet are long and bent back like a wolf. They have human-looking heads, and their long fingers ending in black claws. Now we get into the root crafting side of it all. So we know that this is maternal based, and root craft flows from mother to daughter. It's taught within families. Different families have different approaches. You borrow root temporarily because you believe that root is not yours to own. So you make offerings to ancestors so they will share root with them for a time, and after it's returned, you thank them. It gives you protection from those who would harm, and healing so that they can survive, resist, and thrive. It manifests at a young age, like 5 or 6. Root crafters are the descendants of those who developed the craft. Root is pale yellow. Invisible energy of the world. Dead have the most access. Supernatural creatures have the second most access. The living must ask for permission to access and use, and it works as a shield to burn off Hellfox blood off Bree. Wildcraft, so it's shorthand for branch of rootcraft that manipulates a type of energy found in living things such as plants, herbs, trees. You borrow power from ancestors to use energy from plants, and the power is finite, and so is living energy of plants, as is ability to operate as a vessel. Wildcrafter is someone who practices wildcraft. Auras, it's the personal energy reflecting the state of your spirit. So it's a faint sort of fog or a thin mist. Emotions, intentions, abilities are all told when aura reading. A reader is someone who can see people's auras. A memory worker, they work memories so they understand their energy and power over present day. Memory walk, sort of time travel into ancestors' memory, so you can't alter it and no one can see or hear them. in the memory. Blood crafters, they steal power from their ancestors. They bind it to their bodies for generations. It's colonizer magic, magic that costs and takes. It's a curse. A power taken and not returned incurs a debt, and the only currency accepted is death and suffering. And this is what the root crafters and the root community call the order and their like. A medium is someone who can talk with the ancestors. Sometimes possession occurs, and in Bree's case, possession occurs. So during possession, you have to keep them from spilling out, but you have to keep your guard up so other ancestors don't come knocking. And the hardest part is closing the door once it's open. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!